What's up, guys? Nick from Comic Culture here. It's time for Nick at Night, my weekly comic book review show. If you want to check out some of these books, I'll have links down below in the description and a 10% off code that you can use at checkout. Let's get into the books I read this week. Absolute Batman issue number 21. Nick Dragotta is back on this one. We have Scott Snyder, of course, doing the writing, continuing our battle with the Robins, our mech suit Robins. I could have used a little bit more of that initial battle we saw in the first third or so of this book, but what we got was epic. It was amazing. It's so influenced in manga. It feels like you're reading Akira. Nick Dragotta is doing an incredible job of just continuing to build up this world, these character designs and everything. So I'm blown away by whatever he's able to do every single time he introduces a new character. We also get to touch base with our rogues characters as well, learning a little bit about their psyche, what their motivations are. We're learning where they're kind of tilting, which one is a little bit out of control and which one's trying to reel them back in. So it was cool to touch base with those rogue gallery friends again. There's also some scenes we've been building up towards over the last several issues coming to a head in this issue, and we get to see the repercussions of that as well. So they packed a lot inside of this issue. And if that wasn't enough, they also teased maybe where we're going to be going next, some future villains that are going to be entering the landscape as well. So a lot of stuff on the table in this issue. Again, some things we've been looking forward to for a very long time are coming to a head over here. We're going to get the origin of Harley Quinn coming up very soon. It's going to be interesting to see what that feels like with a new artist team coming on, but I'm excited for it. I love everything Absolute Batman right now. Spectacular issue, and I really love the Robin characters inside of here. I like the different voices, the different suits and abilities and whatnot, and I can't wait to see if Bruce can kind of tilt them to his side. So we're going to see where the story goes in subsequent issues. All right, let's jump into Absolute Green Arrow issue number 2. Of course, we have Pornsack and we have Albuquerque on the art. Now, issue number 1 didn't quite resonate with me. The perspective of it was a little bit jarring. I thought we were going to get an Absolute Green Arrow book. We actually ended up getting an Absolute Black Canary book, but I do like the switch in perspective here. They built up Black Canary a lot inside this. We all know all about her backstory, what she's doing right now, what she's trying to accomplish with her family, some of the people she's been dealing with, and her connection to the main characters in this particular part of the universe. We had some things covered in issue number 1 that just led to more questions, and we didn't quite get those answers in here. We got a little bit more of the same from issue number 1, but I will say coming out of issue number 2, you can cross a few names off the list of potential people who are being this Absolute Green Arrow character right now. We still don't have that answer yet, but we're narrowing it down as we go. I really love the artistic approach to this book. I love the coloring and everything. It's a dark, gritty world, so it fits the bill perfectly. The story itself, it's kind of elusive to me right now still. There's so many different players and stories and backstories and connections and all kinds of stuff. Whenever they bring up a person's name, I'm having a hard time recalling the connection between the characters. So that's a little bit of a negative in my opinion. We're only 2 issues in. I don't really need the big reveal to be revealed within those 2 issues. I think towards issue 3 and 4, we better start getting some answers, and the story better start clearing up a little bit. Otherwise, I think I'm going to be losing my interest of the story here within the next few issues. Let's go over to DC Next Level with Batwoman issue number 4. Now, issue 1, 2, and 3. They were kind of hard to get through, to be honest with you. There's so many questions that you might have as a new reader. If you haven't read a Batwoman book before, if you don't know who Kate is and her twin sister, and you don't understand that dynamic or some of the classic villains that this character may or may not have and where this character was from based on previous runs, I don't know if you're really going to resonate with this particular story. That was certainly me. But, you know, in Danny we trust, so we're going to keep on keeping on, and we're going to check out this story. I will say that issue number 4 clears things up for you. There's a lot of assumptions you can make just based on the facts that are in front of you in issues 1, 2, and 3. So some of those assumptions came true with inside of this issue, but we still have a lot of questions to answer still. We do get caught up on what Kate's doing and what Alice is doing. Kate is free at the moment. She's teaming up with some past allies, and she's trying to figure out what's going on exactly. We also get to see what Alice is up to, and some of the assumptions, like I said before, that we had from previous issues are turning out to be true inside this issue here. There's a lot of characters I still don't know a whole lot about. In fact, all the villains in this entire series so far, except for Alice herself, are elusive to me. I don't really know what they're up to, who they are, what they're trying to do, what their motivations are, besides just being some kind of like an occult of sorts. And they're looking for some kind of an avatar, some kind of a hero to lead them, and they think that they found it with either Alice or Kate. So maybe I need to do myself a favor and maybe just do some research or read some previous runs to kind of get oriented to the world in general and who these characters are, because right now, I don't really have any stakes. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have no connections to these characters, although I probably should. All right, next up is Catwoman issue number 88. I love me some Catwoman. Another exciting issue in the series. Black Mask is destroying everything right now. He's taking it to Selina, but also Holly. And we also have Selina's sister involved and some of her more longtime legacy character friends as well. What's really cool about this series is it's giving me a little bit of a history lesson on Selina herself. Like, I didn't know she had a sister. I didn't understand what Black Mask has done to her and to her husband and everything. The mental state that her sister's in right now, she's back in the crosshairs of Black Mask and his entire goon squad, and Selina's trying to save her. We also have the Holly character showing back up, trying to rehash some of that as well, trying to hurt Selina in every way possible, really. We also have one of Selina's old friends, Slam Brady, involved in this one as well. He's playing a really cool role, and he's in a very tough spot towards the end of this book. So Selina has to figure all this stuff out. Everybody that's close to her in her life is in the crosshairs, and she's trying to, you know, figure out all these clues and get to the person in time before they're taken out. So it's great. You know, there's a lot of characters I don't really know a whole lot about besides Selina. So I'm getting educated in the world. I understand who these people are, their relationships and their backstories. And so it's just a really cool place to be. It's a really well-drawn book too. Great colors and everything. And there's so much excitement and so much just kinetic energy on the page. It's dark, it's dreary, it's got this mood to it. So it's handling a lot of things really well. It's educational, it's a cool story, and it looks great. All right, next up from Dark Horse Comics, we have Concrete. We have Stars Over Sand issue number 1 from Paul Chadwick. Now, I will say, if you have not read Concrete in the past, this is a continuation of previous stories. So you really need to go back and really understand who Concrete is. You're not going to get an origin story. You're not going to understand how Concrete is the way he is, or who the supporting cast is around him, and basically like what the tone of this book really is going to be. You're not going to get that inside this issue. You really got to go back and read some other Concrete books. But if you are a longtime reader, you are rewarded inside this story. We still have Maureen, we still have Larry, they're traveling around. I think this is picking up right after, I think it's a story called The Human Condition or something like that, where Concrete is giving birth to this thing and nobody really understands how it might happen. He's got this on again, off again love relationship with Maureen, and so it actually blossoms into something very unique and special. He has this concrete baby, and they're traveling the country right now doing their existential things that they always do. They're going back to the sand dunes in this issue here, and so we get to get in touch with nature. We get in touch with our writing abilities. We're a speech writer. We're trying to prepare for this big thing we got coming up right now. We have some legacy drama and everything we pull forward into this issue, but it does it in that classic Concrete fashion. So this isn't like a superhero kind of a book. This isn't a fast-paced thing. It's a slow burn book. It's got a lot of cool characters that have a very complex relationship that you're not going to understand if you just read this book for the first time. I really enjoyed this book just because of the context I have for the character, and I really recommend going back and reading some of his other stuff. So go start with Concrete issue number 1. Just read through those. It's probably 12 or so issues. There's a bunch of 5-issue miniseries that have spun out of that, and a bunch of trade paperbacks and whatnot. Go check out your dollar bins at your comic book shops. See what they got back there. All right, next up is Deathstroke the Terminator issue number 4. I friggin' love this book. This book is a little bit slower. It takes it back a little bit. We take a deep breath in this issue, but there's that ever-present threat that is always lurking in the pages of this story. I think we actually really needed this tone change in this issue, because issues 1 through 3 are just pedal to the metal nonstop. You can barely catch your breath. This one, we need to do that right here, and we do that in a very interesting way, bringing Rose back into the conversation. And they have really great dad-daughter moments throughout this issue. I really like the teasing we have of other characters inside this issue too, and like, who is Slade really afraid of? We get a little glimpse of that inside the issue too. We still have a lot of questions to answer. We don't exactly know who started this entire thing to begin with, who's really at fault here. Some of the threats that we thought we put down in the past issue or so are going to be coming back. They're going to get more reinforcements, and we're going to continue the battle we started the past issue. So I'm really excited to see where the story goes. I'm having a great time with this entire run so far. I've never really read anything Deathstroke related, but man, this is certainly turning me into a fan. Next up from Mad Cave is Dog Tag issue number 2. Mark Russell on this one. It was practically my pick of the month for the first issue when it came out, because I didn't expect to be blown away by this particular story, this kind of storytelling, the artwork and everything, the heaviness of it, the poetic nature of everything, mixed with this wartime setting. It was like a yin and yang kind of thing, and it just worked perfectly for me. This one continues the story further, where our our main character. He's basically a journalist who's trying to put out false reports about what's going on in the wartime. We're making our advances through World War II right now. We're taking a few steps forward, a couple steps back. We're actually promoted. We're leading a few different people right now going on these missions, and we're interacting with enemy snipers inside this issue, and kind of like the rules of war as it relates to whenever you come across an enemy sniper. It's really fascinating stuff. There's certainly a lot of humanity inside the book as well. There's these moments where you, the reader, feel uncomfortable with the decisions and just like the thought processes that you might have being in their situations. At least that was my opinion. So it's doing a lot of interesting things. It really challenges your own humanity in the way that you think and process how you would act in those kinds of situations. It's a brilliant idea. I'm really having a great time with this series. It's probably the best Mark Russell book since Traveling to Mars. It was one of my picks of the year. This book is certainly turning into something really special, and I'm really looking forward to more issues. Next up is G.I. Joe. We have issue number 23. Joshua Williamson on this thing, and Melina is doing the art. I just love me some Joe. I keep saying it over and over again. It's my favorite Energon book right now. It's super grounded. It's easy to follow. There's not a whole lot of weird, complicated characters. We do have Crystal Ball in here, a character I know nothing about. We were introduced to them in the first issue. We have a new mission we're going on. Risk is kind of our main character perspective. We have Baroness, we have Destro, we have Mercer on here as well. We're all going after Energon coincidentally at the same time, and Crystal Ball is kind of beat everybody to the punch and utilizing this power source to amplify his Crystal Ball mystic powers. We're getting a history lesson on Risk as well. So great, it's great for new readers like me. I don't quite know what he's been up to, what his family dynamics is, how he got to the place he is right now, his past missions and some of the regrets around them. It's all on display inside the issue. We also get a temporary ceasefire between Baroness and Destro. Who knows where that relationship's going to go, but everyone's kind of putting down their weapons at the moment, taking on this common threat and just trying to get the Energon, and then they can attack each other towards the end. It's great artwork. It's easy to follow, interesting characters and everything. So I think Joshua Williamson is doing a great job of like hand-holding new people through this universe, keeping it fresh, keeping it exciting. Ever since the Dreadnought War, this book has been on fire. All right, next up is If Destruction Be Our Lot, issue number 2, Image Comics. We have the Rosenbergs on this one. We also have Andy McDonald doing the art. It's a very interesting book. Our point of view is from a mechanical Abraham Lincoln. He's kind of caught in that thought process. He still finds himself useful and relevant in this weird world where there's no more humans around and AI and robots have essentially taken over the bubble world that they live in. There is this overlord structure of robots that kind of keeps everything in check, reprograms and destroys useless robots and everything. So Lincoln and his friends are in this moment where they're captured by that kind of group and they're being sorted into different areas to be reprogrammed or destroyed or whatever, right? So it's basically the journey for Abraham and all of his friends and everything through that system. And it's vast, it's complex, it's insane, it's breathtaking at the same time, and it's very, very depressing and heart-wrenching at the same time. As Lincoln goes through many different layers of sorting and everything like that, we're back on the run right now. We're going behind the scenes. We're teaming up with some folks that we met along the way. We're taking out little mini bosses here and there, and we're being reacquainted to this original like human aspect that we saw originally in the first issue. So I'm having a good time of just being a bystander in this world. We don't quite know like who the villain is. Is it the structure that keeps everything in order, or that reprograms the robots and everything? Like, they're just doing a job too. The humans aren't villains in the story. They're just a species that has gone basically extinct, or so to speak. So I don't quite know, like, what are we fighting against, really? But surprisingly, I don't really care. I'm just having a good time just reading the book, just being a character, watching everything happen. And it's interesting. Great character designs, great world building and everything. So I'm having a good time just passively reading this book at the moment, but I will like some kind of direction or some kind of drag in the fight at the end. So once we establish that, I think it'll start really hooking people. Invincible Universe Battle Beast issue number 10. Holy crap. So in the Invincible, if you guys have been keeping up and reading Invincible at the same time, I'm probably around like 120, something like that. And so right now, Battle Beast is fighting another very powerful person, stretching over many different issues. And we get to see maybe a preliminary outcome of that, although I got to keep reading to see if it's actually the case. But also now I'm reading Battle Beast, and now we're fighting freaking Conquest inside of this one. So I'm getting a double dose of Battle Beast carnage, and I'm just freaking loving everything about it. Conquest fighting Battle Beast for an entire issue. Great, brilliant, slow build up as well. You know, just really setting the stage for what we're eventually going to have inside the page. So the first half is basically that tension building. Any second now, one of them is going to flip their stuff. They're sitting peacefully at a dinner table, throwing jabs back and forth. Some bystanders are in the middle, understanding the conflict that's building in front of their eyes. But towards the second half of this book, that's when all hell breaks loose, and Man, it's incredible. It will continue over on issue number 11 and maybe even further than that. So I'm really excited for that. Like I said, I'm reading Invincible, so I'm curious to know where this particular moment happens in the same, Invincible timeline. I have my suspicions of where it might land, but like I need to finish Invincible first before I can definitively say where I think it might be landing. But either way, having an incredible time. If you like Invincible, you have to be reading Battle Beast. And if you like all those, go read Capes, go read Tech Jacket, go read The Werewolf Man or whatever it was. Get your hands on everything Invincible because it's all great. All right, next up is Lobo issue number 4. We have Scotty Young on this one, Jorge Corona. We're 4 issues in. Corona is still the most powerful part of this entire series. I'm blown away by every single page turn in here. All the background matter, the landscapes that he's in, Lobo himself, the different characters he interacts with, like the creativity, just like the design of everything is just absolutely remarkable. The story itself has yet to find its groove. We're just kind of living in a day in a life, which is fine, but I kind of like to see, like I said before in a previous book, if destruction be our lot, I want to know what the dragon is that we're fighting for. Give me a reason to do it. Lobo's not a likable character, but he certainly has a charm to him that people like. In this issue, we get a bounty to basically go into this Fortress of Solitude that's in space and recover a specific item. And of course, Kara shows up and they do a little battle through portions of the story. Now, undoubtedly, this is because the new Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow movie coming out towards the end of this month. Lobo is going to be inside of there. So those characters are well defined and they play well with each other throughout the issue here. I just love the back and forth, the sarcasm, the snarkiness, how brutal they both are towards each other. There's no real conclusion to the end of that, but it's not going to be the last time that these two are going to be teaming up. They're going to be going forward into the next issue, I would imagine, if they continue that on, and we're going to see where they eventually split from there. So like I said, I think it's a brilliantly beautiful book, but I really think we need to have a little bit more focus from a story perspective. We're kind of all over the place right now. We had basically a 2-issue story arc to open this up. We had a retrospective book in the 3rd issue, and this issue sets us in a new direction, brings in Kara, and who knows where it's going to go from there. But I am really interested to know what you guys think about this story in general. I think we can all agree that the art is fantastic. What do you think about the story? Let me know down below. Next up is Of the Earth, issue number 2. I was critical of issue number 1 just from a sense of I feel like the landscape was more of a character than the actual characters themselves. We have a young girl who's running from a mysterious past, and if you read that forward in the very beginning, props to you for doing so. Apparently it gave you some additional context, but now it's a bit for me not to read that stuff. It was switched to the back of issue number 2 this time. I got about halfway through, and it was very anecdotal. It was very not super specific to the story itself at the moment. And I'm like, I got a lot of comics to read. I'm going to flip through this one too. But I will say issue number 2 certainly gave us a lot more meat on the bone. So we understand a little bit more about like what's the mysterious force that's going on right here. We have a company, the oil company, coming to the property, reporting on some issues that the young girl in the story was reporting to them. The grandmother is pretty much speechless at this moment. Whatever she saw and experienced really put her in this catatonic state. So she's essentially useless sitting on the sideline right now. But we do get to see more about what is actually going on or what might be going on in this land. Of course, it's going to be some kind of like weird oil monster or spirit or entity, whatever it might be, utilizing the land and the surface and just like, I don't know, like the essence of that all together and really possessing people, taking them out, killing them, whatever it might be. We see a little bit of that inside this issue. To be honest with you, I don't really know where the story can go from here besides maybe learning a little bit more about the limitations of this oil monster spirit entity thing. It's like, don't exactly know how you fight something like that. Maybe you light it all on fire and just take care of it. We know who our characters are. There's not a whole lot of them, but in any case, I do like what I'm seeing so far inside of these issues. Number 1 was okay. I think number 2 really kicked it up a notch and got me way more interested in the story overall. All right, next up is Redcoat issue number 18. Of course, we have Jeff Johns on this one and Brian Hitch doing the art. We had some very interesting things happen in the previous issues. Redcoat is pretty much settled down right now. He's gotten himself a wife. He's got a couple of kids right now. He's put that red coat in the closet, and so he has to bust it back out towards the end of this to save, wouldn't you know, Benedict Arnold from the hands of this cult-worshipping group that kidnapped him in the previous issue. There was an interesting proposition that we explored in the previous issue too, where Redcoat could essentially make his family immortal through the same processes, and Benedict Arnold was going to help facilitate that. Albert didn't think that was such a great idea. There's a cool moral dilemma at stake here, but it seems like that's not going to be the case after reading this issue. Simon does sit down with his wife in this issue and pretty much spill the beans of what's going on and who he really is and the experiences he's been through, and that really destroys her view of her husband. She doesn't recognize him anymore. She doesn't understand how he could have lived in this secretive way this entire time without telling them. She doesn't quite understand it. She thinks it's witchcraft, which I think is really cool. When I was reading those moments, I kind of put myself in their position a little bit and thought, this is early 1900s. Even if it happened now, it would be insane. But if this is early 1900s, we're like, it's witchcraft, right? That's magic. That's going to be impossible. That's like satanic, so to speak. So I don't really blame her for her reaction or what she did throughout this issue. She did kind of pull back a little bit and reconcile slightly towards the end of this book, too, in this form of a letter that she leaves with him. That part has kind of been put to the side for right now. And Simon has to put that red coat back on to save Benedict Arnold. This issue had a lot of great pacing to it. We picked right back up where we left off in the last issue. A lot of excitement, a lot of gunfire, a lot of fights and things like that. Great, quiet, complicated moments. Great conversation with the wife throughout this book. And then, some more battles and whatnot towards the end, then wrapping it back up with a more somber moment. So really cool ups and downs throughout this whole issue. All right, next up is Spider-Man Long Way Home issue number 1. We have Hickman on this one and Adam Kubert doing the art. I was like, the great creative team, you know what I mean? But it's another Spider-Man book. A lot of Hickman stuff lately for Marvel really quite hasn't hit me like it should. I think Alien vs. Avengers was the last one that was like, okay, there's some cool things there. But I think everything since has been like, oh man, this is not what I wanted. But we have Adam Kubert on this one. So I'm like, man, we're going to be checking this one out, seeing what's going on. And so it's kind of the same as always, man. We have Punisher and a ragtag team of people that are the best at what they do, right? Sent on this one mission. None of them feel good about this. They're going to some real isolated place, like in a jungle, this like temple or base kind of a thing. None of them feel great about the details they were given, the specifics of the mission themselves, like go find the thing. You'll know the thing when you see it kind of stuff. And even some of them are even questioning that as they're parachuting into the place, which I thought was kind of funny. Like, why would this elite squad even go forward with this mission if they don't even quite know what the objectives are? Like, that felt kind of far-fetched. And then you as the reader, you don't quite know where it's going to go. Eventually you realize it's an AIM base and it's like, okay, it's AIM. So it's like, that's a very familiar territory for these kinds of stories. Then you realize what the item is. It's the cosmic cube. And like, okay, great. Now we're going to have another cosmic cube type story. We've already had thousands of those in the past, and some are the best Marvel stories ever written, and some of them are very forgettable. But then you throw the Hulk into it. So now you have like the most common ingredients in any kind of Marvel limited series event. But to top it off, you're going to throw Spider-Man in on it as well. Now, why is Spider-Man plucked from New York and dropped into wherever this is in the middle of the jungle to help solve this riddle with why the Hulk is here and trying to save the Cosmic Cube, and where is the Punisher? Who knows? His history with the characters in general? I don't know, but he's certainly not excited to be there. I will say I did enjoy the visuals. So like, it did look really cool. There was a lot of interesting moments, a lot of oh my gosh kind of moments. It's a limited series. You could do whatever you want with these characters. Who cares at the end of the day? But I did feel like a lot of the story elements were just too familiar. They're just too predictable. There wasn't anything that really shocked me as I was reading the story. Now, with it said, I'm a glutton for punishment. I'm going to be reading the next issue or two, seeing where it goes in general. I don't exactly know how long this is going to be. I'd imagine it's 5 or 6 issues or whatever it is. So who knows? Maybe I'll just stick around for it for the memes. All right, next up is Olympus Saga Megalith issue number 2. We have Matt Kint on this one, and we have Louis LaRosa on the art. I really liked the first issue of this story. It was a cool mystery. It was a kaiju book in disguise. We got to know some of the smaller characters inside of like this New York City landscape, specifically this one cop who patrols the subways at night. This big spire lands down. These response teams are attacking, but this cop becomes vital to them getting to the right parts of the underground system to access this thing. It's destroying the world above. It's destroying them all inside as they enter it and everything. There's a cool mystery around it. And like the visuals and everything were just awesome. I really enjoyed issue number 1. Issue number 2 continues all of that. We're mainly focusing on our team that was able to infiltrate it at the end of issue number 1. They're going through this impossible landscape. It's kind of like Journey to the Center of the Earth. It's impossible to imagine that this place exists in the physical limitations that they're in right now, and this spire that fell from space. Now, at the end of issue number 1, this thing starts growing arms and legs and starts walking essentially through the city, destroying things as it goes, and it continues to do so inside this issue. But we also learn a little bit of backstory about like what this thing actually is. It's a vessel of some kind. It connects with whoever it can, whoever's the right host, wherever it lands. So really this thing is plucking away at the characters, getting inside of their psyche and trying to figure out like who the next pilot will be for this suit, essentially. And what is this suit an entity trying to do? It's trying to find the right pilot so it can continue this endless battle that it's had with this other being that's on its way to Earth right now. Now, the conflict that these two beings have is really interesting. It's a really cool way of describing it inside the issue. It's down to the molecular level, into the level of DNA, where it's like it's showing the battle at that level, all the way to like, I don't know, conceptual size, right? Where it's like Big Bang type stuff, these impossibly large entities. So like whatever this rivalry is, it's been going on for eternity on every single level. So again, it's a really cool take on a familiar theme. I've never seen a story built out like this or told like this with all these little cool twists and turns in it. So I'm having a really good time with this one. Let me know if you guys are reading it. All right, next up is $1 Trillion Kid from Jeff Johns, and we have Peter J. Tomasi on this as well. So it's a new #1 inside the Unbelievables universe within side of Ghost Machine. So think of like Hornsby and Halo, think of Rockefellers. It's in that universe in a very similar way that like Geiger is in the universe with Junkyard Joe, which is in the universe with the Northerner and Redcoat and whatnot. So it's another pocket universe with a bunch of other titles that are mixing together, so to speak. This one is focused on a kid who's very much like a Richie Rich, or he's kind of like an Elon Musk kind of a character. He's got a real humble family. His grandfather had some real good lessons learned. It talked about how the family built up their wealth with the use of, or the invention of certain kinds of Band-Aids that were specifically targeted for children. And they basically grew their wealth so much that he became like the first trillionaire. And so they spent a lot of time building how this to be the case. We do spend the majority of this issue with the kid and understanding like his motivations to go public with his wealth. Historically, his family has kind of kept it close to the chest. There's a lot of dialogue about that way of doing things. And so this kid wants to do things that are cool. He wants to improve life, specifically for kids. Like he builds roller coasters through all the towns to take kids to school every day because he thinks that kids should have fun on the way to school. And he can see test grades going up and attention going up in the first periods and things like that. So he's got some cool ideas, real like Richie Rich kinds of things. There's also this like underlying dark side inside of the story. There's these parental figures that we interact with throughout this issue. We learn a little bit more about them. Are they really hired help? They're clocking in, clocking out. They're in the middle of these real touching moments like at bedtime and things like that, sitting down with the kid and asking about their day and, what are they thinking and everything. And their watches will go off like, oh, that's it. We got to go clock out kinds of stuff. And they ended up getting out of there. So there's this really like weird underlying uneasiness that we explore a little bit here too. I got to go back and maybe reread it again to see like what actually happened to his parents. Are they missing? Were they killed? Are they somewhere else? Did they give them up? Like I forgot about like that part of it, but these like stand-in parental figures and even these siblings was really unnerving. So where we're going to go from here is basically this kid is unfulfilled. He wants to branch out. He wants to go across the world. He wants to go across the country. He knows that the other factions, the other books inside this universe are a thing. And so I think he's going to start going around exploring, mixing up with some of them as well. So it's going to be kind of cool to see what that looks like. I think they're going to head towards like the Hornsby and Halo universe, which is honestly a book I stopped reading after about issue 4 because it felt more YA. And I think that's where the Peter J. Tomasi link comes into play here. But it was a cool book, but I don't think you're going to get a whole lot out of it if you're not reading the other titles. You know what I mean? It's like reading Redcoat without reading anything else, or reading Geiger without reading Redcoat and things like that. Like you're doing yourself a disservice if you're not reading those other books to make those connections to build out this world in general. So like I want to continue it, but I don't think I have that kind of patience to go back and reread all of Rockefellers and go get caught up on Hornsby and Halo and whatever else I missed in this particular pocket universe. But all right, guys, that's what I read this week. I hope you enjoyed that. Let's now go over to League of Comic Geeks to check out what I might be interested in for next week. Now that we're at League of Comic Geeks, let's go over to New Comics. Make sure we are on June 24th, and let's check out the books. I have it sorted by most pulled, and I turned off variants. So let's check out this first week here. Of course, Absolute Wonder Woman issue number 21. Freaking love this series. Great last issue. Hell of a cliffhanger at the end of that one, too. Absolute Superman. Man, these three going at it. On the page. Incredible stuff. Can't wait to continue that one. Not reading anything else. Man, do I need to flip through Ultimate Endgame? I don't know. I don't know if I have the patience for it. Not entirely sure. Or Ultimate Universe issue number 1. Man, maybe this one, maybe not the other one. I don't think I'm reading most of this. I might check out Infernal Hulk issue number 8, although that series is kind of wearing me out, to be honest with you. It depends on who's on the art. We have Zatanna issue number 3. A decent book. It feels just like the previous run, although she's supposed to be like the Prime Magus right now, and which is essentially the Sorcerer Supreme, but I don't see any difference in the character or the abilities just yet. We're going to get an origin of that, I think, maybe in issue 4. So I'll be sticking around seeing what's going on with this character. Let's go down. We have Swamp Thing 89 issue number 3. I love this. It's a great A continuation of a canceled series from the 1980s, so I'm excited to get more of this Rick Veitch action here. We have Corpse Knight issue number 3, a pretty good book. I think it's going to be a better trade read, to be honest with you, so I may or may not pick this one up. I might trade weight it. We have Bizarro Year None issue number 2, a very strange book, and I feel like the last issue came out maybe 2 months ago. I kind of forgot what happened in issue number 1. I might have to go back and read 1 first. Escape issue number 8. I feel like we just got issue number 7 maybe 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, but hey, I'm not going to argue. I love Escape. Issue number 8's coming out. We have Conan the Barbarian, issue number 32. Incredible series. I love everything Conan right now, so give me more Conan. I'm excited for this one. We have Capes, issue number 8. I haven't read the first 7 issues, so I'll be stacking these for now, but I'm going to be picking up maybe I think the variant cover for this. We have The Peril Brutal Dark, Ezra K. Mystery, issue number 5. I think it's a 6-issue series. I was talking to Eric 9 Panel Grid and Stu, Dr. Doom's fan club, and I think they broke the news that it's maybe 6 issues. And so there's no plans for continuation, but I'm sure they're going to leave it open-ended. We have a lot of story to tell still with just 2 issues left. Now let's check out and see what else is coming out. We have Red Roots issue number 3. Man, number 2 was a complete left turn from issue number 1. I have no idea where the series is going to go. I might check this one out. Let's continue down the list. We have Blood of the Wolfman, new Universal monster from Joshua Williamson. I think Leo Max is on this book. I don't remember a whole lot from like any of the Wolfman movies, so my history on that is you really have to understand the movies or have a crystal clear memory of what was going on to really appreciate these Universal Monster books. So I have a feeling I'll read this one and kind of feel okay about it. As we keep going down, we have the Hab issue number 3. I really enjoy this series. Everything crap's hitting the fan right now. We're trying to recover from this weird tribal curse that was put on this environment, this habitat that we've built on right now. So we're going to see where issue number 3 goes. It's from Bad Idea. We have an Eye Collector issue number 1, a new one from Image Comics. We have In Your Skin issue number 3. I gotta be honest, I'm not entirely sure I'm going to continue reading this book or not. I couldn't quite get through issue number 2. Issue number 1 was very similar. It's just not really a book for me. I might just sit this one out. We have Racer X issue number 8, great complimentary piece. Mark Russell is on this. It's a complimentary piece to the Speed Racer books from Mad Cave and David Papose. Highly recommend checking this one out, especially if you're reading Speed Racer. We have Kaito 84, Usagi Yojimbo. I think this is only a couple of issues left to go. Incredible story, incredible interior artwork. Really excited for more of this. And then one of my favorite books of the year right now is Ted OK issue number 5. I think it's 6 issues, if I'm not mistaken. We had a great issue number 4. Excited to continue it in issue number 5. Man, we got a lot of books this week. So we have A Quiet Place. I don't think I read issue number 3, but if you're into the movies, I would suggest checking this book out. We have Death Fight Forever. I think Andrew McLean is on this one. We have issue number 5 coming out. Very nostalgic book. Great homage cover as well. We have Area 51, or 51 rather, issue number 4. I don't think I read issue number 3. Interesting book. I'd recommend checking this one out if you can get your hands on it. Then we have a few more books down here. Let's just make a sweep and make sure we're not missing anything. Honor and Curse issue number 4. I don't remember if I read issue number 3. That's a decent book. You could check that one out if you're into that kind of thing. And then we'll just take a pan down here, see what's going on. We have Do Not Disturb issue number 4, solid book from Flores and Jared Hunter Rowe. So interested in issue number 4. And I think that might end up doing it for the week of the 24th. All right, guys, that's what I read. That's what I'm interested in for next week. Let me know what you read and what your favorite books of the week were. While you're down there, like, subscribe, share, hit that bell notification to be alerted whenever I put out new videos. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the comments.